Alright, today we are finally going to be washing this thing, and as you can tell probably from the last video and obviously here, the thing isn't too terribly dirty, but there is quite a bit of dirt on it because it was sitting outside under a cover, and as you can see on the sunroof here, there's just a ton of just stale dirt sitting on it, and the goal is really to try to pull that off today. So we're going to spend some time on that, do the wheels before they go out for powder coating, and kind of go from there. Okay, like any good wash, we are going to be starting with the wheels. Now, these BBSs are kind of tricky, so follow me along for the process after we pull this car out of the garage. You're going to see me spray the wheel down with the Meguiar's iron decal. Now, I did rinse the wheel really quick just to get a base, but I take a wet brush, a wet light bristle wheel brush, and start scrubbing it down. Now, these wheels being so intricate do take some time to go through every nook and cranny, but trust me, it is worth it. And once you spray it down, it's some immediate gratification to how clean it can be. So get everything soaked, let it sit, and then spray it down. As I mentioned, once those wheels are cleaned off, you'll see it here in the sun, they look amazing, and they still need to be refinished, but for the time being, they look pretty good. So what I'm going to do is take you guys along for the ride. I'm going to bring you around to each wheel, kind of move you around for each, and you're going to follow that same process. Spray it down with the iron decon, let it sit, brush it, and then rinse it off. So I'm moving to the passenger side here. In a second, you'll see a Sasquatch sighting briefly across your screen. That is my dad, who is here for the ride. But spraying this down and making them look as good as they can. Like I said, within the next week or so, these are going to come off the car and go in for powder coating and get the lips refinished as well. But letting it sit, this side actually turned more purple than the other side. I wish I should have probably picked you guys up to actually see that, but they turned really purple on this side. Not sure why the brake dust was worse here, but brushing it off and going to rinse it off and then move to the front. Okay, next step after finishing the wheels is to rinse the car down and get some of that surface dirt and dust off. And you're going to see me plug in here the Built Hamber Touchless Snow Foam. Now, this is a sugar-based foam, and the goal of it is to let it sit and do most of the work for you. I'm going to pick you guys up here so you can see what I'm talking about, but on the ground you're going to see in the white these little brown spots, and that is literally the dirt being pulled off of the car. Now, this step is usually skipped, but it's super important for cars that have been sitting because it's going to help prevent scratches when you go back at it with the mitt. So rinse that off, do a thorough job getting any of that sugar-based foam off the car, and then we'll come back at it in a second here with the GSF to actually work as your shaving cream base for your wash mitt and bucket. Okay, now that snow foam, the sugar-based snow foam, has been removed, you can spray the car down with the Gentle Snow Foam by Cook Chemies. GSF, it's referred to, has a nice cherry smell. Not going to go off topic here, but it's a really pleasant smelling product. So spray the car down with that. You're going to see that this is actually going to stick to the car much better because the goal of this is really to act as your shaving cream as you're going through with your wash mitt and your bucket steps. because it's going to allow you to glide over the paint and prevent scratches as you're doing it. So I'm going to go panel by panel here, be thorough here. Everyone has kind of a method. As long as you're moving kind of top down, you're in the right spot. I'm going to finish with doing below the belt line. Now this car specifically actually has a black belt on it, so it's really easy to see what I'm referring to, but that's going to be next after I get around the car, and then we'll rinse it off. So I'll let you guys enjoy this for a few minutes. Gone through the whole car, wash mitted, so now the next step is really just to rinse it off and do a really good job rinsing it off, getting it kind of out of the window cracks and the window sills and door sills. Really anywhere that holds water, the goal is to spray out any of that soap because it can kind of just sit there, and when you go to dry it off, it can just be a pain. So recommendation, spend some time rinsing the car off. This is going to be your final step before drying. Now that we're moving on to the actual drying off, you see me flash some earplugs there. I have some custom molds. It's really important, one, you're using the Ego leaf blower with kind of a shorty knob on it, to use some sort of hearing protection because it is very loud. Now, I have it zoomed in on this panel because as I hit it with the leaf blower, the goal is that you see some of that water bead off. Now, this paint's actually in much better condition than I thought. Apparently, it had been waxed and sealed pretty constantly prior to sitting outside, so it actually made this cleanup job a lot easier. But I'm going through the whole car with that leaf blower to get all of the water off as best I can before I go back at it with a towel. Now, because it is so sunny out today, which is really less than ideal when you are drying a car, I am going to back it into the garage here in a second so we can dry it off from there. As I mentioned, now that we've pulled it into the garage, it is really important to just dry everything off thoroughly. Now, a lot of people may ask, why are you drying it in the garage? And it's two reasons. One is the garage is AC'd and it is very hot here in Chicago today. But more importantly, water spots can be really detrimental to shiny, clean paint because it can kind of just etch in if it's sitting in the sun too long. So make sure you get all the water spots off if you are drying in the sun. Any direct sunlight, get that water dried off first before moving on to the shady parts. But just walking around the car, making sure I dry everything thoroughly. And what I do is similar to washing, start at the top and move your way down after a few passes. So in a second, I'll back it up under the lights, the detailing lights, and we can kind of see what we're dealing with. Probably saw it as I was backing the car up, but the paint actually cleaned up really well. So as I do a walk around with you guys here, you'll see under these lights, it looks good. There's a light haze and a few swirl marks from years of watching in the paint, but we've learned that there was some sort of wax coating, so that's actually helped preserve the paint even while it was outside under a cover. So we're going to tape everything off, do a light polish on the car, and bring it back to factory new. So stay tuned for that. We also have the wheels going out for powder coating soon.